In a world filled with noise, chaos, and endless distractions, one question quietly rises above it all: how can we remain calm, clear, and grounded when everything around us is spinning out of control? Welcome to Stoic Wisdom. This is not just a philosophy from ancient times, but a living path, a powerful mindset to help you master your emotions, overcome stress, and take back control of your inner world. In this video, we'll walk through 13 core lessons of Stoicism that reveal how to live not only with reason but with resilience. These are not lofty ideals. They are practical tools forged in the fires of adversity, tested over time, and ready for you to apply today. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, indecisive, anxious, or lost, this journey is for you. Stay with us and take the first step toward mental clarity and inner freedom. When the world is in chaos, you can remain still. English version. In the relentless pace of modern life, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, as if we're adrift in a sea of stress and uncertainty. Yet, amidst this chaos, there exists a timeless path to serenity, a philosophy that has guided individuals through the tumultuous waves of existence for centuries. This is Stoicism. Imagine standing firm, unshaken by the storms of life. Picture yourself navigating challenges with clarity, making decisions with unwavering confidence, and maintaining inner peace regardless of external circumstances. This isn't a distant ideal, it's a tangible reality achievable through the principles of Stoicism. Today, we embark on a journey to explore the core tenets of this ancient philosophy, aiming to equip you with tools to master your emotions, reduce anxiety, enhance mental clarity, and cultivate self-discipline. As we delve into these teachings, remember, the power to transform your life lies not in changing the world around you, but in changing your perception of it. Without a purpose, you are drifting aimlessly. Life without purpose is like a ship sailing without a compass. No matter how fast it moves or how far it travels, it remains directionless and vulnerable to every shift in tide. Wind. Purpose is not just a motivational slogan or a distant dream. It is the steady anchor that keeps you grounded and the guiding light that helps you navigate the darkest storms. In Stoic philosophy, purpose is deeply personal. It is not handed to you by society or imposed by others. It is something you must discover for yourself through reflection, honesty, and alignment with your deepest values. What truly matters to you? What kind of person do you want to become? These are not easy questions, but they are essential if you wish to live with intention and not merely survive. When you have a clear purpose, challenges become meaningful rather than overwhelming. You begin to see obstacles as part of the path, not diversions from it. Every failure, every setback becomes an opportunity to realign and refocus. Instead of chasing every passing desire, you conserve your energy for what truly matters. A purposeful life is not always easy, but it is deeply fulfilling. It gives you strength when you feel weak, clarity when you feel lost, and discipline when distractions tempt you off course. When you know your why, you can endure almost anyhow. That is not just ancient wisdom. It is the foundation for a life of freedom, resilience, and unshakable direction. Mastering emotions. True strength doesn't lie outside. Emotions are natural responses to the world around us, but they do not have to control us. Anger, fear, sadness, and frustration often arise not from the events themselves but from our judgments about them. Stoicism teaches that we are not disturbed by things but by our perception of them. This shift in thinking gives us a powerful advantage. It means we can reclaim control over our inner world even when the outer world is beyond our grasp. Mastering emotions does not mean suppressing them or pretending they do not exist. It means observing them with honesty and choosing how to respond. When someone insults you, you do not have to respond with rage. When you fail, you do not have to spiral into shame. Between what happens and how we respond, there is always a space. In that space lies your freedom and your power. To strengthen this emotional control, start small. Practice pausing before reacting. Reflect before speaking. Acknowledge your emotions without obeying them. Over time this practice becomes a habit. Envy the habit becomes a character. You will find that situations which once triggered outbursts now barely shake you. Emotional mastery brings with it a quiet confidence, a deep clarity, and a stable presence. You are no longer a prisoner to impulse or circumstance. You become grounded in principle, not tossed by mood. This is not coldness. It is true strength. It is peace born from discipline and the understanding that your mind belongs to you and no one else. Don't let your mind become a dumping ground for external emotions. Your mind is your most valuable space. If left unguarded, it becomes vulnerable to every negative influence from the outside world. Criticism, gossip, fear, and distraction creep in slowly until they shape your thoughts, beliefs, and behavior. Stoicism teaches us that just as we protect our physical homes, we must also protect our inner sanctuary. Guarding your mind begins with awareness. Ask yourself what you are feeding your mind each day. Are you consuming anger-filled media, shallow entertainment, or constant noise? Are you surrounding yourself with people who complain, judge, and discourage, or are you choosing inputs that uplift, challenge, and inspire you? The quality of your attention determines the quality of your life. You would not allow garbage to be thrown into your home, so why allow toxic ideas into your thoughts? Choose your influences carefully. Read books that strengthen your wisdom. Listen to voices that encourage growth. Build a mental environment that supports your values, not one that sabotages them. Guarding the mind also means setting boundaries. Learn to say no to conversations that drain your energy and information that clouds your focus. This is not avoidance. It is clarity. You are choosing to value peace over chaos. Protecting your inner space is an act of strength, not weakness. It is the foundation for thinking clearly, acting with purpose, and living with integrity. When criticized, do you react or stay in control? Criticism is inevitable. No matter how well you live or how kind you are, someone will always find a reason to judge you. The real question is not whether you will be criticized, but how you will respond. Stoicism reminds us that we cannot control what others say or think, but we can control the meaning we assign to their words. When someone criticizes you, it can trigger defensiveness, anger, or doubt. But before reacting, pause. Ask yourself, is there truth in this? Is this feedback or just projection? Are they offering insight, or simply venting their own frustration? This moment of reflection is your opportunity to stay grounded instead of being pulled into emotional chaos. Sometimes criticism carries valuable lessons. Sometimes it reveals more about the critic than about you. A Stoic approach does not reject feedback but filters it. Keep what helps. Discard what harms. Protect your peace but stay open to growth. True composure is not silence. It is the ability to listen without being shaken. To speak without attacking. To walk away when necessary without bitterness. Responding calmly to criticism is not weakness. It is discipline. It means you know your values and your worth. You are not seeking validation from every voice. You are anchored within. And that inner anchor cannot be moved by passing judgment. Offense is a test, not a sentence. Feeling offended is a natural reaction, but living offended is a choice. When someone says or does something hurtful, it is easy to feel attacked and retreat into resentment. But Stoicism challenges us to pause and ask what truly causes the pain. Is it their words or our interpretation of them? Often it is not the insult itself, but our attachment to pride, ego, or expectations that create suffering. When you take offense, you give someone else the power to control your emotional state. You hand over your peace in exchange for anger or self-pity. But what if offense could be transformed into strength? What if every insult was an opportunity to build resilience? Instead of reacting, ask what this moment can teach you. Maybe you learn patience, maybe you see your own sensitivity, maybe you realize the value of forgiveness. Growth often hides behind discomfort. When you choose not to take offense, you are not being passive, you are being powerful. You are refusing to let someone else dictate your inner world. This does not mean accepting abuse or staying silent in the face of injustice. It means responding with intention, not impulse. It means learning to stand firm without being shaken, to hold boundaries without hatred. Offense is inevitable. But whether it becomes a prison or a path is up to you. The Stoic chooses the path. Always. Fear and shame are not enemies, but lessons. Fear and shame often feel like enemies. They creep into the mind quietly but powerfully, holding us back from growth, from connection, and from truth. But Stoicism invites us to look deeper. These emotions are not here to destroy us. They are here to reveal something. They are teachers in disguise, showing us what we still run from and where we still hide. Fear is often rooted in the unknown. We fear what we cannot predict, what we cannot control, what might hurt us. But much of this fear is built on imagination, not fact. Stoicism urges us to confront fear directly. When we question it, we weaken it. When we examine it rationally, we often find that it shrinks under the light of reason. Shame is more subtle. It tells us that we are not enough, that we are unworthy, that our past defines us. But Stoic thought encourages us to meet shame with compassion and honesty. To ask what lesson it holds rather than what punishment it demands. The past is not a sentence. It is a source of wisdom if we dare to face it. Both fear and shame lose power when brought into the open. When we hide them, they grow. When we name them, they soften. The Stoic does not deny emotion. The Stoic studies it, learns from it, and moves through it with purpose. There is strength in this humility. There is clarity in this courage. Fear and shame are not signs of weakness. They are invitations to deepen your understanding of yourself, and to emerge more resilient on the other side. Anticipate the bad, and you won't be crushed when it comes. Life rarely goes as planned. We face setbacks, delays, misunderstandings, and failures. Many people are caught off guard by these events and crumble under their weight. But Stoicism teaches something radically different. Prepare for the worst, not with dread but with clarity. When you anticipate difficulties, they lose the element of surprise. You may still struggle, but you will not be shaken. This practice is known as premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. It is not about expecting doom. It is about rehearsing the mind to face life as it truly is, not as we wish it to be. And you mentally walk through what could go wrong. You train your spirit to stay steady no matter what unfolds. Imagine facing a crucial meeting and picturing all that might go wrong. A technical failure, a difficult question, a moment of nervousness. Instead of being paralyzed by fear, you arrive prepared, grounded, dead and composed. This is the power of expectation without attachment. You are not hoping for disaster, but you are ready if it comes. By visualizing hardship, you reduce panic and expand resilience. You make your mind a place of order, not chaos. The Stoic accepts that difficulty is not the exception but the rule. And through this acceptance comes peace, not fear. Adversity cannot be avoided, but it can be anticipated. And in that anticipation lies strength, the quiet confidence that no matter what comes, you are ready to meet it. Inner strength is not born, it's forged through every fall. Inner strength is not something we inherit or stumble upon. It is something we build. It grows slowly through effort, through pain, through reflection. Each setback is a hammer strike, each failure a spark, each disappointment a chance to temper the soul. Stoicism reminds us that adversity is not an interruption of the path. It is the path. We often believe strength comes from avoiding struggle. But true strength is shaped by it. The person who endures not because they are fearless but because they continue despite fear has begun to understand the nature of resilience. When life presses down, the Stoic does not collapse. they deepen their roots. This kind of strength does not show itself with noise or force. It reveals itself in calm and presence, in quiet consistency. It is the power to stay steady when others shake. It is the ability to act according to principle, not impulse. And it is the humility to learn from mistakes rather than hide from them. Inner strength is built daily. It is the discipline to show up even when motivation fades, the courage to speak the truth even when it costs you, the clarity to make decisions based on values, not ions. Over time, this strength becomes who you are. Not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. And nothing in the world can take that away from you. The strong don't follow impulse, they follow reason. Impulse is quick. It demands reaction. It pushes us to speak before thinking, to act before understanding, to choose comfort over growth. But reason asks us to slow down. It invites us to pause, reflect, and align our actions with our deeper values. This is where true strength begins. Not in force but in restraint. Not in reaction but in intention. Stoicism teaches that freedom is not doing whatever we feel like. Freedom is doing what is right even when it is hard. It is choosing long-term purpose over short-term relief. It is resisting the pull of emotion when emotion clouds judgment. To act with reason is to trust your higher self more than your passing moods. Self-restraint is not repression. It is redirection. It is taking the energy of desire and using it to build discipline. It is delaying gratification, not because you fear indulgence but because you understand consequence. The Stoic does not reject desire but evaluates it. They ask, does this serve me? Does this align with who I want to become? The strongest people are not those who always win. Why are the ones who master themselves? They respond instead of react. They wait instead of rush. They speak with care instead of shouting to be heard. In this stillness lies their power. Restraint gives you space to think, to breathe, and to choose your next step wisely. And in that space, character is forged not by force but by clarity. Living according to nature doesn't mean giving up. To live according to nature is not to surrender or retreat. It is to understand your place in the world and act in harmony with it. Nature is not house. It has order, rhythm, and purpose. Stoicism teaches that we too are part of this order. We are not separate from it but bound by the same laws. Living according to nature means accepting reality while aligning our actions with reason and virtue. This principle asks us to look inward. What is our true nature? It is not greed, fear, or selfishness. Our nature is to think, to choose, to contribute. We are rational and social beings capable of tie-in and compassion. To live against nature is to chase excess, to reject truth, to act without integrity. To live with nature is to practice wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. This does not mean avoiding ambition or effort. It means choosing goals that are aligned with what is essential. It means stripping away distractions and noise to focus on what truly matters. It means letting go of what we cannot control while committing fully to what we can. Nature changes, seasons shift, storms come and go. So does life. The Stoic flows with this truth rather than resisting it. Living according to nature is the foundation of peace. When we stop fighting reality, we reclaim our energy. We begin to act with clarity, not confusion. We become part of the world rather than at war with it. This is not passivity. This is power. It is strength rooted in acceptance and the quiet discipline to live in harmony with all that is. You can't control the world, but you can be free from within. The world will never fully bend to your will. People will misunderstand you. Plans will fall apart. Outcomes will differ from your expectations. If your peace depends on external control, it will always be fragile. But if your freedom comes from within, it cannot be touched. This is the core of Stoic wisdom. You cannot command the storm, but you can calm your mind. Freedom is not the absence of hardship. It is the presence of inner stability. It is the ability to remain centered while the world shifts around you. Stoicism teaches that true liberty begins with what you choose to believe, what you choose to value, and how you choose to respond. These are always within your reach. When you stop chasing control, you gain clarity. You begin to focus on what matters most: your actions, your integrity, your discipline. You realize that much of what disturbs you is not the world but why. Our resistance to it. The more you let go of what you cannot change, the lighter and freer you become. This kind of freedom is quiet. It does not boast. It does not need permission. It lives in the space between reaction and response. In that space you remember who you are and what you stand for. The Stoic does not escape the world. They walk through it with grounded presence. They do not rely on fortune but on the strength of their character. And in that strength they find a peace that no loss or chaos can steal. Decisiveness is not recklessness, but acting according to values. Decisiveness is often misunderstood. It is not about rushing into action or ignoring uncertainty. True decisiveness is rooted in clarity. It means knowing what you stand for and allowing that knowledge to guide your choices. The Stoic is not impulsive but purposeful. They do not act to escape doubt but to stay loyal to principle. We live in a world full of noise and endless options. Decisions can become paralyzing. But when your values are clear, decisions become simpler. You are not choosing between good and bad but between aligned and misaligned. Between what strengthens your character and what weakens it. Decisiveness is not the absence of fear. It is the courage to move forward despite it. To be decisive does not mean being inflexible. It means being intentional. It means listening deeply then acting swiftly. It means not letting fear of failure trap you in hesitation. The Stoic accepts that no choice is ever guaranteed but action guided by virtue is always worthwhile. Each decision becomes an opportunity to live in alignment. When you say yes or no, let it reflect who you are, not who others want you to be. When you take a stand, let it be because your values demand it, not because your ego needs it. Decisiveness anchored in wisdom brings confidence, not arrogance. It allows you to move forward with integrity and peace even when the outcome is uncertain. Discipline doesn't confine you, it sets you free. Discipline is often mistaken for restriction. It may appear as limitation, but in truth it is liberation. To be disciplined is to have command over your time, your actions, and your energy. It is to live by design rather than by accident. The Stoic understands that without discipline, freedom becomes chaos. Desire without direction leads to distraction, not fulfillment. Discipline begins with small, consistent choices. Waking up on time, keeping promises, finishing what you start. These habits seem ordinary, but they form the foundation of trust with yourself. When you keep your word to yourself, you build confidence. When you follow through on your intentions, you develop strength. Self-discipline is not punishment. It is a declaration of self-respect. A disciplined life is not about rigidity. It is about alignment. It means saying no to the things that weaken you so you can say yes to the things that matter. It means prioritizing purpose over impulse and progress over comfort. The Stoic trains the will as a warrior trains the body. Through repetition, focus, and effort, the mind becomes sharper, the spirit steadier. Discipline creates space for clarity. It protects your energy from being wasted on trivial pursuits. It allows you to move through life with direction and momentum. The disciplined person is not a slave to routine but a master of intention. They do not wait for motivation. They act from commitment. In this there is true freedom. The kind that no circumstance can ever take away. End the journey. Begin a new way of life. You have walked through the core principles of Stoicism not as distant ideas but as living tools. Each part of this journey has offered a mirror to your thoughts, your habits, and your choices. The purpose has never been perfection but transformation. Not to escape life but to engage with it more wisely, more calmly and more courageously. The end of this journey is not a finish line. It is a doorway. A new way of seeing the world and your place in it. Stoicism is not a shield against pain but a path through it. With these principles, you are now better prepared to face challenge with purpose, to lead with integrity and to live with depth. Keep practicing. Keep refining. The Stoic path is not a one-time lesson but a lifelong commitment. Start today and begin again tomorrow. That is how wisdom becomes character and character becomes destiny.